nonfiction book called Legs, Wings, Fins, and Flippers. Wow, so just looking at that title and looking at the picture on the book, what do you think, what kind of information might we get from this book?
It's about animals
Okay.
that have legs, wings, fins, and flippers.
Oh, okay. Well, what's some animal, I know you guys know lots of animals that have legs and wings. Well, what about fins and flippers? What's an animal that you know have fins?
What's fins? Something that swims.
So can you explain to her what a fin is? You said something that swims has a fin, so.
Well, I know that fins, I've seen them on people. People wear those things on their feet, those flipper things, and fins. I would think that's maybe like on the back of the shark.
Okay. And I heard you kind of talk about it. Can you give me more information about fins and flippers?
Well, some kind of fish.
So flippers are usually on an animal's feet. Like think about a duck. They have flippers, they have those webbed toes, and they use those to propel them in the water. And fins are kind of like a fish's arms. They go out here and they do like they flap them and they go forward. Or they have a fin on their back. So let's kind of just look inside this book and see what we can tell about the book. What is the first thing we see on page 3?
Oh, I have a pretty picture.
No, good one.
Page 3.
What's this called?
No, the table
Table
of
of contents.
contents.
So we said this is a nonfiction book, so I'm not surprised to see a table of contents. And do you remember what the purpose of a table of contents is?
Just to kind of give us information, tell us what's coming next. And if we want to find something really quick, it's a great place to go.
So you don't have to always read the whole book. If you want information about something, you can go straight to the page, right? So I want you to make a prediction about something that we might read in this. What kind of information might we, just by looking at the table of contents, what kind of information might we get from this book?
Animals we find, where you can find them, and on there.
Okay, so you guys are saying where, right? Because I think you see the word land, air, and water. Those are giving us places, right? So do you think the animals might be categorized according to places? Okay. All right. Let's turn the page. This section is all about the introduction. Did you see how on the table of contents it said introduction, page 4? And then when I look on page 4, the part that's underlined says introduction. So it's just giving us some information. But I see a whole bunch of little words everywhere. There are a bunch of little words that aren't in the paragraphs. What is that all about? What are all these little words floating around?
They tell you the name of the animal, because I know that's the word deer. And I know swim, I see the word swim.
Yeah.
Swim. Yeah.
Those are called captions, right? And captions tell about the picture or the photograph. So it's important for us to also read the captions. Do we still get information from that? Yes, we do. So when you're reading and you're getting information about these animals, I want you to make sure that you also look at the photograph and the caption to get more information, okay? And I want to kind of talk to you guys too about, in this book, there are lots of suffixes on the end of the words. And I want to show you how important it is to read the suffixes on words. So I'm going to write a little sentence here. Is that a D or a B? What is it?
D.
Okay, I can't come on upside
You
down.
did good.
Okay, so I'm going to read this to you, and I want you to look word by word as I read it, and I want you to kind of be my editor. I want you to tell me what I'm not doing right. I'm going to make mistakes. I want you to listen carefully. The dog run quickly.
You left the S off.
I didn't say this S? So what? It's just one letter.
But it tells us there's more than one.
Ah.
And it didn't sound right.
It didn't. So 2 ways I should have caught that mistake, right? It didn't look right because it has the S there, and it means more than one, and it didn't sound right. The dog run quickly. If I only had one dog, what would I say? The dog runs or ran, right? The dogs run quickly. This helps me know there's more than one dog, and so if I don't pay attention to the end, it's going to change the meaning of my sentence. So I need to make sure that whenever I'm reading, I also look at the end of words. So sometimes we just kind of read fast, but we don't pay attention. So I want you to always be looking at the end of the word and thinking, did it sound right? Did it make sense? We're always asking ourselves that. And if it didn't sound right or make sense, what do we do?
Go back.
Go reread and fix it. That's exactly right. So we're only going to read a couple of sections today. So in a minute, we're going to read, and while we're reading, everybody's going to be reading on their own. Okay? But what you're going to do is you're going to be whisper reading. So let me show you what that's going to not look like and what that does look like. So watch me whisper read. So if everybody's reading at the same time, I want you to tell me how I'm doing here. Introduction. Animals move in many ways.
That's,
Yeah, thinking.
It's too loud, so you can't think. Okay, watch me now. Am I whispering? What am I doing? So, at this level, I usually make them read out loud. Just FYI. Okay. So I'm going to say, I want you to whisper read, so watch me. Okay, so it's just enough so you can hear yourself and so that I can lean in and hear you too. But it's not too loud to disturb everybody else. And whenever I tap in on you like this, that means I want to hear you a little bit louder. Okay, and then whenever I tap you again, it means go back to whispering. If I tap you, it means go a little louder. And when I tap again, it means go back to whispering. Okay, so as we begin, you guys are going to read the introduction and the on land. So it's page 4 and page 5, okay? And whenever I tap you guys, go ahead and make 1 or 2 errors whenever we're reading, so I can help you out, okay? Okay, so go ahead and start whisper reading, please.
Introduction.
woman is many ways.
I see you guys start to do this.
Most people
Does it sound okay? So then
Yes, go back
go
and
back
read
and
it.
read it. Animals move in many ways.
animals have different
Animals have different.
Most animals that live on land have legs. Animal can have different number of legs.
Oh, no, you mostly did it right, but I heard the same error 2 times. So let me show you what you did. You said, most animal that live on land. Most animal that live on land.
Animals.
Ah, so you weren't checking this? Okay. So you made that same mistake here, so you can reread.
The whole thing. Most animals that live on land have legs. Animals can have different numbers of legs.
You can keep going if you
On
need to.
land, most animals that live on land have legs. Animals can have different numbers of legs.
Okay.
And then I have,
So I saw you really solving this word. How did you finally get that word?
I just was trying to sound the different letters, but I know we talked about ER says earth, so I was dividing it up.
Good. So you look at the different parts of the word. I like to use that strategy.
Some animals have no legs.
Some animal have
Some animals
Oh, it didn't sound right?
No. have no legs. These animals live their bodies, slide their bodies.
How did you know that was slide and not slid?
It didn't make sense.
Yeah. And how do I know whenever I look at the spelling of that word that it's slide instead of slid?
That has a snippet.
That makes sense. So, but I know how you liked, at first you said it didn't make sense, and then you can go back and look at the silent E, right? Okay, everybody stop there. We're going to have a little conversation about what you read today. So you guys read about the introduction and the animals on land. And I wonder if you can tell me something that you learned about the animals on land.
Some animals on land have no legs.
Do you guys agree with that? Can you show where in the text it said that? What are some examples of the animals on land that have no legs?
A snake,
Oh, no legs?
worms,
So how do they get around? What did the text say about how they get around?
they slide.
So y'all acting it out, and we find slide, right? And I really like a strategy that I saw Laura use whenever she was reading on page 7. Find that sentence that said these animals. Can you find that? So at first she said, these animals slid their bodies to move. And she didn't think that really made sense. So she went back and took a closer look at this word. And when she looked at this word, she saw that there was a vowel consonant E. And we know from phonics that this E is silent and makes the vowel say its name. So that's I. So we have full, slide. So if it doesn't make sense, take a closer look and think about any patterns that you see in the word, okay? What are some other animals that we have on land? Horse. What do they say about horses?
They can run fast.
Did you guys notice on page 6 there was a word that would have big black letters?
Yes.
I'm going to pretend like I don't know that word. I see a vowel pair. A vowel pair means we have two vowels together that make one sound. A lot of times it's the first letter's name. So I'm going to try that. L-E-P, leap. Frogs have long back legs to leap. I don't know if that's right or not, but I think it's bold because there's a glossary in the back. Can we see there's a glossary in the back? I'm so smart. There is a glossary in the back. And I see the word leap. Let's see what leap means. Ready? To jump a long distance. Oh, so leap is a synonym to jump?
Yes.
Oh, well, let me see if that makes sense in that sentence. Let's see. Frogs have long legs to jump. Jumping means and leap means pretty much the same thing, right? So next time we're reading this book, when we come back and we have a bold word, what does that bold word mean? It means there is a definition. Good. So next time we come back, we're going to read about animals in the air and in the water. But whenever you're reading to yourself and read to self, I want you to make sure that you're listening to see if it sounds right. If it doesn't sound right, I want you to go back and look in the word for patterns that you know. And I want to make sure that you're looking at the endings of words. Okay, guys? You go on to read to self. See you later.